Hey folks, I'm Michael and welcome back to the channel. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe for your daily dose of awful stories. Let's dive into the first post made in the Confessions subreddit. The post is titled, "I spilled my mom's ashes on the floor of a Walmart. My mom died in November last year. Since she passed, I've been carrying a small amount of her ashes in a necklace. I wear it every day I go out. I often touch it to ground myself if my anxiety starts to ramp up. Today at work, I must have inadvertently unscrewed it enough that when I went onto the floor to work, it came undone and spilled on the ground. I panicked. I started hyperventilating and saying, 'Oh my God,' while looking for a broom and dustpan. I couldn't find one, so I scooped up what I could into a bag and threw it away. I feel horrible, absolutely sick to my stomach. I keep thinking about people stomping all over her. I'm hiding in the bathroom now because I couldn't hold back the tears anymore. I know it wasn't really my fault, but I'm blaming myself. I'm so fucking sorry, Mom." Edit, I'm a little overwhelmed by all the support on this post. Honestly, I was going to delete it because I was embarrassed, but I've decided to keep it up. Thank you all for your kind words and for helping me reframe the situation. My mom was a funny lady and she's probably laughing at this from wherever she is. OP is torturing themselves over an accident that happened because they love their mom enough to keep her with them every day. That's the core of it. The ashes spilled because they were literally holding on to her. They didn't disrespect her. They went into full panic mode, trying to save what they could because she mattered that much. I don't think that floor erased her. That trash bag didn't erase her. Her impact, her stories, her jokes, the way she lived, that's where she actually is. If anything, Mom's probably roasting them lovingly for freaking out this hard over a few grains while she's off doing whatever's next. The second story for today was made in the AITA subreddit. The post is titled, "AITA for making my sick husband clean up his vomit. My husband has been dealing with a stomach bug of some kind for the last few days. Vomiting, diarrhea, nausea, and so on. I've been taking care of him, the house, and the kids by myself because of it, which is a lot of work with 2 under 5. This morning, my husband wanted to try eating something, so I made him toast as requested. As he sat on the couch nibbling his breakfast, I was in the kitchen making our toddlers their breakfast and feeding them when I suddenly heard him violently gagging in the other room. He'd been hanging out in the living room during this entire illness, so he already had a trash can nearby in case he needed to throw up. I called out, reminding him to use it or to go to the bathroom if he felt like he was going to vomit. He didn't listen and ended up throwing up all over the floor, and even got some on the couch. My husband then came into the room where I was feeding our kids and said he was going to our bedroom so I could clean up his vomit. I said absolutely not. There was no reason for him to throw up all over the floor, so he needed to take care of it himself. I had already been cleaning up after him all weekend when he got sick by surprise, but this time he had plenty of time to prepare and could have avoided making a mess. He's now mad at me for not showing him enough bedside manner, so am I the jerk? Update, I never expected so many comments. I feel very validated. All day, my husband kept making snide remarks about me not being a good wife and saying that anyone who cared about their loved one wouldn't punish them when they're sick. So I showed him your comments and it finally shut him up. I've received a lot of messages and comments about whether my husband might have gotten me or our children sick. Don't worry, the rest of us are fine. It turns out he likely got food poisoning from eating food that had been sitting in his work break room for nearly 24 hours. Moomin Trolley said, "I've been so violently sick before that I couldn't make it to the bathroom and threw up in the hallway. So I know it's not always possible to control it. But you know what I also did? Cleaned it up myself because I'm an adult who can take responsibility for my own mess. And I didn't want to expose anyone else to my horrible stomach bug germs. Your husband is being selfish and inconsiderate." Snowfizzle said, "Does he not understand that the rest of us have been sick before too? You always get at least a little warning before you're about to get violently ill, even if it's just a few seconds to grab that trash can. I'm 44 years old and I've had stomach bugs and gone through chemotherapy, and not once have I ever thrown up all over the floor or furniture. You can always make it to the sink, the bathroom, somewhere other than just letting it happen. I can't believe those were his expectations." This third and final story was made in the True Off My Chest subreddit. The post is titled, "I helped a lady at the gym gain confidence and it resulted in her getting a divorce." Over the past few months, I've been taking a specific Pilates class 3 times a week. In this class, I met a woman who first showed up very timid and shy, dressed in lots of layers, almost as if she was purposely trying to stay fully covered. There's nothing wrong with that, of course, but in a high-intensity class, it's tough. Over time, I started saying hi to her and working out side by side. As the weeks went on, I gradually got to know her better. It turns out she's a married woman with 3 kids, and her husband is a stay-at-home gamer. He doesn't bring in any income and apparently always tells her that her clothes are getting tight and that she should consider hitting the gym more often. I never tried to pry, but she vented about it pretty often. As time went by, she began coming to class with a smile on her face. She started dressing more confidently, and you could just tell she was starting to find herself again. It was so nice to see. Last week after class, she came up to me and said, "Hey, so I did something crazy." When I asked what she did, she told me, "I finally decided to leave him, and I wanted to thank you for helping me find myself again and for being kind to me. It helped me learn my worth and gave me the courage to stand up for myself and take care of me for a change." I honestly didn't realize I had made such an impact. On one hand, it's beautiful, but on the other, I can't help feeling like I caused a divorce. At the same time, it's really her husband who caused it. I just like to think I helped someone understand their true worth. Iron Seguin said, "You didn't cause the divorce, dude. The husband did. Imagine being a stay-at-home gamer who brings in no income while your wife works her ass off to raise both you and the kids, pays the bills, and then still has the audacity to tell her, 'Your clothes are too tight.' She just needed to hear someone be kind to her after all that time, and I guarantee it had been a while since she'd heard anything like that." Eli Ray said, "This sort of happened to me. I started working for this absolute boss of a woman as her second in command. Over time, she'd open up about the frustrations in her marriage and I'd inadvertently react with shock. For example, she once mentioned that her husband was unemployed and not actively looking for work, but then she complained about the cost of full-time childcare. My immediate response was, hang on, if your husband isn't working, why isn't he caring for your kid? Apparently, the straw that broke the camel's back was when she came to my house to collaborate on a project. We lived closer to each other than the office and both happened to be working from home that day. My husband, also working from home, popped his head in to offer to make us coffee and brought in a plate of snacks. She was in shock that he was so caring and supportive, even though he was just being a normal, thoughtful host. It took her about 18 months, but she finally kicked her husband to the curb around this time last year. Now she's with an amazing guy who treats her like the absolute queen that she is. I'm so happy for her. Only Half Jewish said, sometimes a person just needs a bit of positivity and faith in humanity and themselves to find the courage to do what they are afraid of.